Welcome to the Rhonda Effect, the podcast dedicated to helping entrepreneurs like you harness the power of intuition and deepen your connection with spirit. I'm your host, Rhonda Arnott, and this is your space to stepping into your power and unleashing the extraordinary potential within you. In a world where understanding the unseen has never been more crucial, we're embracing the age of intuition and awakening to the profound guidance that lies just beneath the surface. Each week, we'll explore how you can strengthen your intuitive abilities, deepen more connection with spirit, and navigate your entrepreneurial journey with clarity and confidence. It's time to awaken to the possibilities, trust your inner wisdom, and transform your life and business from the inside out. Join me on the Rhonda Effect as we embark on this incredible journey together. So let's dive in and discover the power of intuition. Well, welcome back to my podcast, The Rhonda Effect, Intuitive Guidance for Executives and Entrepreneurs. I have the lovely Lauren Armstrong on the podcast today, and she is a human design for business guide. I'm actually going to let Lauren introduce herself because you all know that I can say this little blip and then the really juice comes from the person that is on my podcast. So Lauren, introduce yourself to my listeners, please.
Hello, listeners. My name is Lauren Armstrong. Like Rhonda said, I'm a human design for business guide. And what the heck does that mean? It means that I help you leverage your unique individual energetic blueprint, which is your human design, in your life and in your business so that you can have more flow, less resistance, more ease. Because we all know that any way can work for building a business, but there's a way that's going to work more easily for you with the way your energy works. So that's what I help people do, is figure out what that pathway is for them.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Now, I've taken a course on human design. I know I am a projector.
Okay, amazing.
I know that there's certain qualities or characteristics or human design-ish things about me that really surprised me. One of the things is I'm a 3-5.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me understand that a little bit better? What does a 3-5 mean in my human design?
Yeah. Okay. So human design is made up of different systems that are all it's a combination of all of them together to give us like one unique energetic blueprint. So there's like over 2 billion configurations, and there's lots of different pieces and elements of our design. So the 3-5 is what we call a profile. So your profile lines are 3 consciously and a 5 unconsciously. So when you pull your human design chart, if you're listening, if you've never pulled your chart and you want to go to the profile section, you're going to see 2 numbers that are next to each other. That's your profile numbers. So for Rhonda, yours is a 3-5, which is super fun. So that means that the 3 in business is really what we look at as the trial and errorist. You are the scientist. You are here to, yep. Okay. So already some giggles. Is that resonating for you?
Yes.
Okay. You're the pioneer. You're throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. You're trying different things out. I like to think about it like very like Lewis Clark Sacagawea, like you're going through the mountains and this terrain and you got like, your knives and you're cutting down brush. You're being the way shower. You're clearing the path for the people that are going to come up behind you. Right.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Isn't that so good? And so part of being that third line is finding out, hey, there's a cliff over there. Don't go that way, right? You had to figure out that the cliff was there so that no one else would follow you and go off the cliff. So you come running back on the main path and you're like, wait, don't go that way. So you're really here to be the trial and errorist. You're here to make mistakes, quote unquote, in business, learn from them, find the learnings, figure it out, and keep moving forward. Like, we love the third lines for this, you know? So I think that there's like a big emphasis on really allowing yourself to learn by doing, right? Figure it out, make mistakes, like experiment. versus being like, oh, I have to learn all the things before I go do it. That's not going to work as well for a third line.
Okay. That sounds, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. What does a 5 mean?
Yeah, so the combination of the 3 with the 5, the 5th line is unconscious to you. So it's what other people see in you. And the 5th line is the messenger. So the messenger, it's also in human design words, we call it the heretic. You might be projected upon as the savior oftentimes as a 5th line. Yeah, so you got to be really clear with boundaries. Here's what I can help you with. Here's what I cannot help you with. Like, honoring that can be really important. So the combination, right, of the 3 and the 5 is I'm the way shower, I'm the pioneer, I'm the trial and error, I'm the scientist. I'm going to figure things out. I'm going to find the way. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be that messenger I'm going to tell everybody which way to go. I tried this and this and this. You know what worked? This. You know what didn't? This. I'm going to tell my people. I'm going to be the messenger. I'm going to help you find your way. Does that land for you?
Oh my gosh. Yes. It totally lands for me. Like I said, I have taken a course, but I never really understood 3 and the 5. That is incredible. Now, does everybody have 2 numbers, or is there a lot more people that have 3, 5, or it could be anything? What is that? I'm so interested here.
Yeah, it's so fun. So I love to look at this from a business perspective. The profiles we really love to use for marketing. So, right, like just like I said, like you're going to do that like trial and error, and then you're going to tell people about it. Like that's really your marketing style that will work really beautifully for you. So yeah, your conscious number. So the first number is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and your unconscious number is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And based off of the angles, you can be up to 12 different combinations. So you could be a 1, 4, a 1, 3, a 2, 5, a 2, 4. Like it's a combination of those 2 numbers. One's conscious, one's unconscious, and they all show up and have different qualities or traits or kind of like roles. We call them public roles in the business world, like roles that you're playing and that you get to play for marketing. That's going to be a lot easier. So for example, for you going and being this way shower, this pioneer that's saying, hey, here's what works and here's what doesn't, is going to work way better for you than necessarily going to a networking event. Does that work for you?
Yes. I mean, I love networking events, but I'm usually the one that is kind of standing back and kind of observing, and then, doing something else, presenting, figuring out things, connecting with somebody and having a solution for them because they come to me with I wouldn't say their problems, but right. And it's like,
wow. Very 5th line of you. You have the answers, you have the solutions, you have.
Yeah. Now, would that go hand in hand with my ability or my gifting of intuition?
Absolutely. Because people are going to be, yeah, it's so good, right? Like, so that's what I love to say, like the sum is greater than its parts, right? Like that 3, 5 is one part of your human design. And so we get to look at all of those elements together and be like, ooh, this is how this connects to this, connects to this, connects to this. And we can look at that pathway and be like, oh, here's the greatest ease. Here's the greatest path forward.
So, okay. So having a role in the executive world of sales. So my 3, 5 is really, from what I'm hearing, is like very, I can't even get the words out. Like, it's like one of those things that I'm in the right position because I have that ability to look at things and come up with a solution and then also show them the way, right? I know finding a solution, you can hold it to yourself or you can share it with others, right? And as a salesperson, I don't look at it as, oh, I'm going to go in and knock on somebody's door and, like a vacuum salesman, open the door. Do you need anything? Close the door. Open the door, close the door. I actually get involved in my clients' life and I help them create the solutions for their life and business, right? Like, it's like, wow, okay, this is really, really good. Really good. So tell my listeners a little bit about a projector.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And
do you know your authority as well? Because I want to weave that in as well. Do you know if you're a splenic projector, emotional projector?
Where would I find that?
Under authority or your decision-making strategy.
Does it matter if my decision-making strategy sometimes sucks?
You know, when it sucks, you're usually using your mind. Like we just that's the way that we see it in human design. So human design, we have our type, which is, for example, Rhonda and I are both projectors. That's one of the 5 types. For our strategy, each of the types have an associated strategy that go with them, how you move through the world. And then there is the authority, which is your decision-making strategy. So your authority is going to be like, basically all of these energies within your body have different functions, but there's one that's like, is the decision maker. Like, this is the one that gets to decide where we're going, and it's always body based. So when you say, tell me a little bit about the projector. So I just want to, bring this in with the sales piece. It's like, you're like, I get really involved in my clients' lives. Of course you do, because as a projector, you're here to be the leader and the guide, and you can't lead and guide someone unless you like deeply know the person, right? You're not just right. Exactly. So projectors are here. We have penetrating auras, meaning we see deeply into the other person. Yes, we are here to grab onto someone and lead them and guide them with permission. Of course.
Always with permission. Always with permission. Yes. But I did find my decision where it's made is I'm a self-projector.
Me too. I'm a self-projector as well. Yeah. So, okay. This is so fun. So Rhonda, you're designed to talk things out to get to your answer. So the fact that you have a podcast is not surprising.
Why wasn't I told all this many years ago?
Preach. Yeah.
Agreed. Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then I have to wait for the invitation, which, dang it, that's hard. Because when I first started with the human design, I never understood what they meant about waiting for the invitation. And then when I was told about it, I'm like, you mean I have to wait for somebody to ask me? I just can't tell anybody?
Yes. Okay, this is so much fun. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this around. So as a type of a projector, you have the strategy that's associated with that type of waiting to be recognized and invited. Mm-hmm. That's your strategy. It's my strategy as well. It's all projector strategies. So waiting for the invitation, what that does, because a projector doesn't have consistent access to energy, meaning you don't wake up with a full tank of gas in the morning and go to bed delightfully exhausted. That is not how your energy works. It is not how my energy works.
Not at all.
It's all over the place. One day you'll wake up and you're like, I could run a marathon today and get 72 tasks done and return all of my returns that have been in the backseat of my car for 6 months, and also coach clients on Voxer and close 8 sales. That is one day. The next day you wake up and you're like, I cannot move from this bed if you paid me $1 million.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Okay? Yes. That is how an energy, and I'm being obviously dramatic for effect, but like that's the way projector energy works. You don't have consistent access to the energy resource. It's inconsistent, which is not a bad thing. It's just knowing how to work with that. And so when we talk about, and there's a reason I'm saying this because you asked about the strategy and it's related to the strategy, because you don't have an unlimited resource of energy. What waiting for recognition and invitation does is it protects us from giving away all of our energy for free to people who are not going to listen to it. Because when we do that, what happens? We get so bitter.
Yes. That when it takes root, it's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You get so bitter and resentful. And you're like, I gave you this precious gift of guidance. And it's like throwing pearls before swine. You don't listen. You come back to me this next week and you have the same freaking question. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely not. So bitter, annoyed, resentful. Those are like I like to add annoyed and resentful because they're more common words than bitter. Yeah. But that's the quote unquote not self of the projector. So when we're not following our strategy, which is waiting to be recognized and invited, it's like highway to Bitterville. When we wait, when we lean back, when we conserve our energy, when we rest, and we only give our advice to people who have recognized us and been like, oh my gosh, Rhonda, you're amazing at sales. And I really want your insight on this, this, and this in my business. And the reason I want your insight on this, this, and this is because I know you've done X, Y, and Z and you're brilliant. That is so different.
Oh, yes.
That's like, oh yeah, baby, that is success. That is recognition. That lights up a whole projector system of being like, I was recognized. I was seen. You saw me, right? Like we as projectors have this beautiful gift of seeing other people, but we can't often see ourselves. So when we are seen, it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's then the strategy for when we give our advice, because we've been seen and recognized. We're only using our energy for those people who are actually going to do what we said.
Yes.
And that leads to success.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This human, where did human design come from? Let's back up a little bit. Where did all that start? And yeah, where did it start? Like, who figured this out?
Yeah. So it's a combination between ancient systems and modern science. So you'll find if you like dig into the roots of human design, there's a little bit of Kabbalah in there. There's the Chinese I Ching is in there. Astrology is in there. Quantum physics is in there. Like all the things with the epigenetics and like the activations on the gene sequences are in there. Like there's so much within this system that's a synthesis essentially. So that's what I tell people when they're like, wait a minute, tell me why this works. And I'm like, okay, you know, all these systems that are all separate, combine them all together, you get human design. Now the woo version of the story is that it was channeled by a guy in the 80s. So he was in Ibiza, probably on something. And it was channeled, downloaded for like over 6 days. He's like, the system like came through him. And again, a combination of ancient systems and modern science to give you one all-encompassing chart. And when you pull your information, so it's based on your time of birth and the science of neutrinos. If you've ever looked at that, it's fascinating. Yeah, I know. It's like, how deep do you want to go here, right? But when you look at the chart, there's so much, like when you look at it, you're like, this looks like a doctor's chart. Like, I don't know, am I going to the doctor to like get an organ checked on or something? Like it's a whole bunch of numbers and shapes and horrible colors that don't go together. And each and every part of that chart means something about your energy and what comes naturally to you and what doesn't.
Wow. What happens if somebody doesn't know their birth time?
A couple of different things. So one, we can always check like the birth certificate. Usually it's on a birth certificate. I tell people to ask their parents if they're still living or they have a relationship with them. The third thing, like, or we can get some woo with the birth time. The first way is to use and consult a pendulum. So I don't know if you've ever used a pendulum where you can ask it yes or no questions. You have
just a second. There's the pendulum.
Love it. I love it.
I never thought of asking. I'm going to ask that because I've always struggled with my birth time, and it's not on my birth certificate. Okay. When my mom was still here on Earth, I asked her. She's passed. I asked my dad, and they're like, "Well, I think it was around, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning." I'm like, "Okay, you don't remember when I came into the world?"
Rude.
Seriously? Like, did that not hurt enough that you can't remember that time?
You ever think about other things?
Yeah. Okay. My dad was thinking about deer hunting. Yeah. So I'm going to ask that. I'm going to find out if that time using my pendulum. Okay. Exactly. Is there any other secrets?
Yep. And the final one is using a Vedic astrologer who can literally there's certain people who do this if you Google it, but it's like they'll ask you all these questions about things that have happened in your life, and based off of the things that that have happened in your life, they'll like backtrack and figure out where the planets were at the time of your birth. And like,
oh my gosh,
I know, isn't that wild? I've never had anyone actually do that and report back, but like in the human design world, that's a very common conversation.
Wow. What made you get into this?
I was doing business and I was having like a really hard time in a launch program.
Okay.
It was like, launch this, do this, do. And I was like, there is something actually wrong with me. Like I need to go get my adrenals checked. I need to go get like I was like at the doctor's getting blood tests because I was like, something is wrong with me. I cannot do all of this work. I cannot keep doing all this doing. I cannot keep up. Like I literally thought something was wrong with me. I was on Instagram one day. It was like 2017. And I scroll across something that says like projector. And it was like, you don't have as much energy as everyone else. And I was like, wait a minute. Like I had never heard or seen the word projector before in my life. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but that's me. Like, what if actually nothing is wrong with me? What if this thing that I'm doing just isn't meant for me? And
Mm.
that's the juiciest rabbit hole you can go down when you're like, oh, the whole world that's telling you that like you need to fix yourself and do self-improvement is actually a whole bunch of BS, and you're great as you are and you get to lean into those strengths. Welcome. So that was the entry to my rabbit hole.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh. Wow.
God.
Okay.
Okay. How
I
did you find human design?
I think it was something similar. I don't remember doing a launch, but I remember questioning, why do I have this gift? Why I mean, I question it on a spiritual level,
For sure.
and I understood that. But I was like, okay, why don't I, like yourself, have this energy? And
Mhm.
why do I come up with solutions or develop relationships? Or, there was many things. And especially is, why do I get bitter or annoyed when
Mhm.
people don't listen to me when they've asked me something?
Mhm.
I was like, do I not have empathy? Am I just this bitter woman that
Yeah.
is so self-absorbed that if somebody doesn't take my advice? And so I think it was on Instagram I
Mhm.
started noticing human design, and I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. And then I
Mhm.
really realized it talked about intuition, and I was like, oh wait, ding 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 ding, there's some words I know.
Yeah.
And that's how I started to understand a little bit. By no means am I any expert in human design, but I know you are. And I know what other types of human design are there besides us beautiful projectors?
Those projectors. Yeah. So, when we look at human design and the types are like the last thing that was kind of like implemented. It's a roll up of all of these other like beautiful shapes and things within the body graph. But projectors are about 20% of the population. We're the leaders, we're the guides. Then we have our generators and our manifesting generators. And that combination of those two energy types create about 70% of the population. So the
Oh,
generators are here to go, 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 do the work that they love to do, that it really lights them up. They're here to master something. And they're usually like picking one thing throughout their life that they're like here to really master. Then we have our manifesting generators, which have a consistent access to that energy resource as well. They have the energy to wake up, go, do, go to bed delightfully exhausted. And they're more multi-passionate though. They're the ones who are like the and people. Like I've had a Manny Gen client who was like a coach and also a welder and also had a real estate investing company, like she's an and person. These are our and people. And you aren't designed to just do one thing, even though a majority of the population is telling you, you should be just doing one thing. You should focus. You're flaky, right? Like that's a lot of
yeah.
core wounding for the manifesting generator friends. Then we've got our manifestors. Manifestors are about 8 to 9% of the population, and they are the initiators. They're here to get things started. They're here to get the ball rolling. They're very impactful. Yeah. So that's very initiation energy. They're not necessarily here to do and follow through, but they're here to get the ball rolling. And then we've got our reflectors, which are about 1% of the population. And they are here to reflect back. They're here to be the mirror, the evaluator. How is it going? Right. So if you have an evaluator is what the business term for it. But if you have a reflector in a group, you can kind of always check the reflector to see how the rest of the group is doing, because they're going to be a reflection of that energy. Yeah, it's really cool. So those are the 5 types.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
It's so fun.
Honestly, there's so much more that we can go into.
Yeah.
I think we need to do another one of these
I'm
and
down.
call in the different types of human design profiles.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit back and let you talk, because I can't talk about generators or Manny Gens or anything like that. I know what it's like to be in a room with them, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, especially as a projector, right? Like when you're in a room with a satisfied generator or Manny Gen
Oh
versus
my.
when you're in the room with a frustrated Manny Gen or generator, it's like you feel that difference.
Exactly. So before we end,
Mhm.
can you share with my listeners where they can find you? And is there something that you have going on right now that they can get in contact with you and join you?
Yeah. Okay. So if you go to laurenarmstrong.com/human design chart, you can pull your free human design chart on my site.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. Very fun. And then at the bottom of that page, I have a human design for business workbook that's available for free that you can download. That will give you, like, if you were sitting in front of me and you told me that what your type was, these are the like 5 questions that I would ask you to get you started moving towards this human design in business journey. So what I love about using human design, I'm a 5/1 profile, and I love using it as like leveraging it for actionable insights, like right now. Like, how do you actually use this stuff versus just like, here, let me learn a whole bunch of information that I'm never going to touch again. So like, that's my jam. How do you use it? Go grab that workbook. You'll be added to my fun little list based off what type you are. You'll get fun emails based on your type, and we'll jam out.
oh my gosh, that's incredible. I'm actually going to go on there and I'm going to check it out because I don't think I've downloaded your workbook. So I'm going to go look at that workbook. But I will definitely leave all your information in the show notes. And I am going to welcome you back already to another episode. We've got to keep going because this is just too good. This is really too good. If anybody's in the executive world or the entrepreneurial world, you can use it for either or. And I know I use my human design profile for incredible opportunities that come to me.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for joining me on this journey of the profile journey. And we will definitely be connecting again very soon because I know my listeners are going to be very interested in their human design and want to connect with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And if you had an aha or an insight, like, I'm most active on Instagram at Lauren E. Armstrong _. Come share that with me. Tell me you listened to Rhonda's podcast. And I'd love to chat.
I'd love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Connect with Lauren. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Rhonda Effect. I'm Rhonda Arnott, and I am honored to have shared this journey with you today. As we wrap up this episode, remember that the power of intuition and the connection with spirit are always within you, guiding and empowering you. In this age of intuition, it's more important than ever to trust your inner wisdom and embrace the unseen forces that can propel you to new heights. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep listening to that inner voice that knows the way. If you found today's episode inspiring, I encourage you to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with all your friends who are ready to awaken their own intuitive powers. And if you're looking for more ways to deepen your connection with spirit and step into your full potential, head on over to Instagram, find me at rhonda.arnott, and send me a DM. Until then, stay tuned, stay connected, and remember, the magic of intuition is always at your fingertips. This is Rhonda Arnott, and you've been listening to The Rhonda Effect. See you next time.